Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Siriana Tarot. This is going to be a reading for May 21st, 2020. This is going to be a reading for the collective for all signs, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I'm going to go ahead and pull from the Mystical Shaman Oracle. This is a new deck and it has been so powerful, you guys. This week, the readings, I have felt them, man, I have felt them deep, deep down into my soul. So let's go ahead and see what cards come out, what card comes out for our daily reading, May 21st, 2020. The Sun, number 53. Lovely, beautiful energy. The sun, the warmth. Oh. So the essence of this card is the sun is acknowledged by many cultures as the foremost masculine force. In other traditions, it is seen as the feminine in her full power. Either way, it is the most brilliant light for all beings and allows life to spout from the dark, feminine earth. It can be gentle and warming close to sunrise or sunset, fall or winter, or it can be destructive as in its zenith during a scorching summer. Have you been hibernating? Have you been introspective? I think we saw that yesterday, right? It's time to come out of your cave and savor the life-giving light of our star. The sun rekindles your passion and your creative energy. Life is calling you to shine your light and to add your lightness and humor to the seriousness around you. Get out and play. Have you been shining your light for too long? Remember that daylight is only one half of the day. The night must have her equal time, and she offers us her gifts as well. Be careful not to be blinded by your light or the light of others. Do not become enamored with yourself or worship others. Beware your shadow. Revel in your midday glory, but do not be afraid of the waning of the light at dusk. Ooh. Yeah, and especially right now, you guys, we're in the waning moon period. I also just got when I was reading that, some of you might be looking into Nyx, NYX, or maybe you need to, as, a deity that interests you, that you relates to you, something along those lines. So let's go ahead and, without further ado, jump into this reading. We're going to ask spirit, angels, ancestors, loved ones who have passed, ascended masters, and our spirit guides to this space to deliver the messages that we need to hear for May 21st, 2020. I do apologize if you hear any background noise. And I'm not reading reversals, you guys. I'm using the beautiful Light Seers Tarot. Eight of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, the Three of Swords, and the Ten of Wands. Ooh, yeah. Okay. So you guys, I'm just getting here that there's so much healing work going on. This feels like a little bit an extension of yesterday, in the fact that I'm just getting there's so much healing taking place and doing that shadow work. So again, the need for that balance, so standing in the sun, but also recognizing that, ideally, depending on where you are and what time of year it is, there's half and half. Right now, if you're seeing more darkness than sunlight, then it's again, you might be focusing more on the shadow work, or you may need to. Maybe need to go into that hibernation state, and recognize that, this is, we're in more of a stative season or place or time in your life. And then for those of us who are, are moving into more daylight than sunlight, more daylight than moonlight, it's about, coming out and being active, that you've been in this stative state, or in the stasis, which is like not moving, right, in this hibernating state, and it's coming out. The Eight of Swords, this is Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy. Sorry, before I get into that though, let's do the overall energy. I got so excited. Sorry, I forgot how I read tarot. The Four of Wands, this is the happiest card in the deck next to the Sun. So this is the minor arcana version of the Sun, which is awesome because this means beautiful blessings are on their way. The Three of Wands, remember, is waiting for your blessings to come in. The Four of Wands is deciding what you're going to do with everything that's come to you. And I love this. This is just full on celebration. And you can see it's hot. It's this weird time of day where it's like dusk. You can see the night sky, but it's still warm. Or maybe they're dancing by the fire. For some of you, this might have been, I want you to go back to, if you celebrate Beltane, go back and see what was going on around that time for you, because I'm really picking up on this Beltane celebration, and that's in the Northern Hemisphere. But the Four of Wands is celebration, and it's protection, it's being happy and carefree. It's about contracts. It can be marriage, it could be a celebration like a birthday, or maybe you're just celebrating graduation, or, around me, all the seniors are graduating, and, it's not the same as it always has been because this year has been so crazy, but, but it's still a celebration nonetheless, and celebrating your successes because you've done the work. And now it's time to, and it's not egotistical to stand up and take a bow and say, you know what, yes, I've done this. And again, look at that, her arms are up in the air. And I know I've mentioned this before, but this is a sign of victory, and people who are even born blind, they do this. And then animals also have a tendency to do this. We make ourselves bigger, okay, not only when we're celebrating but also when we're in the defense. But here she doesn't have to be defensive. She's just letting go. They're letting go, they're dancing, they're singing, they're happy. Queen of Swords, you are moving out of an energy where you were being maybe a little bit too cerebral, a little bit too in your head about things, and really acknowledging everything that you've been through and how hard it's been. But there's reason to celebrate, and so do it. Shine your light, okay? So you also get here what's coming out. So you have 53 and 8, so you have two eights, and eights are, the figure eight. That's the, we see that over the Magician card, we see that over the Strength card, that connection with spirit and with your spirit guides and ascended masters. And it's also about abundance and the infinite abundance that's available to you and that you deserve. That's your birthright coming towards you, celebrating that, giving thanks for all the blessings that you've had, that you are getting, that you will be receiving. The Eight of Swords is Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy. In particular, it's Jupiter and Gemini. And we do have Jupiter retrograde right now. So you might want to look into that astrology and see what that means for you personally. But the Eight of Swords is all about overthinking. Worst case scenario, I'm not good enough, self-doubt, I can't do this, that type of thought. And I really feel like you're releasing that. You're really coming out of it. You can see here there's this shadow also through doing the shadow work, but releasing it, celebrating you are worth it, and coming into that realization and that understanding. The wheel is just a reminder, like I said, I think it was yesterday and maybe even the day before, being born puts us on this wheel, on this journey, on our destiny. And so it's so important to go with the flow and that things are really moving in your favor. With the Sun card and the Four of Wands coming out, it's like this is your time to shine. Things are, you've dissolved some blockages, which we're seeing here with this Eight of Swords and this negative self-talk and this sort of exhaustion that comes from this and over-analysis and this paralysis, etc., etc. And you're gonna reap the benefits of that. The Three of Swords indicates there's a deep healing that's taken place. This can go back to your childhood. It can go back to past lives. It could be in your current situation, but I think, again, you're celebrating because this healing is taking place. Remember, it's not a, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, done, I'm healed. It's a process, but, the little steps that we take in doing that healing, and recognizing, that we are accomplishing that and that we're on our path. Again, you guys out there, I know my collective, our collective is really strong, intellectual, intuitive, but just, you guys out there are spiritual warriors, and this healing isn't easy. And the healing that you do and the ascension and the up leveling that you do is benefiting all of us. And I can't stress that enough. And then you get the 10 of Wands, and the 10 of Wands is about burdens. The 10 of Wands is Aries, Leo, Sag energy, but more specifically, it's Saturn and Sagittarius. And this is all about karma. And I feel like it's come, releasing this healing, releasing, this Eight of Swords energy, releasing that negativity, really focusing on love and unconditional love and the light that you can bring into a situation, like where others see darkness, you see light. Now, it's not candy coating everything, and it's not being fake about it. But it's about, bringing the light. Like, you guys, those of you out there who are light workers, who are listening to this, you know what I'm talking about. It's not always easy, that path, right? But it's so essential. And the 10 of Wands energy here, the Saturn and Sagittarius, is about karma. And it's about you going through this process, and it's like releasing. I really feel like there's karmic completion, whether this is in a romantic relationship, whether this is work, whether this is just your spiritual journey, your life in general, but releasing these major burdens that you've been holding on to for a long time. And Spirit saying it's time. This is the dawn of a new age. It's time to release those burdens that you've been carrying around with you, whether that's guilt, whether that's shame, whether that's self-doubt. There's this, maybe it's anxiety and excess of creative energy, creative life force that if you don't have a way to, if you don't have a creative outlet for it, that's going to turn into nervousness and anxiety, and it's going to really sort of deafen your senses and put you in a negative place. And I see you guys coming out of that. All right. I'm going to pull. Oh, you guys get love. Yeah. Some of you guys are attracting love. For some of you, this is soulmate, twin flame union. My four of Wands card is my 1111 card. You might have been seeing 1111 a lot lately. But it could also be that just you standing in this unconditional love, realizing, remember that your destiny on this earth, your sacred path, is to love and to be loved. And that's directly from yesterday's reading. All right, and then you get change of mind. This has come out before. So yeah, so there's huge shifts in the way that you're thinking. Eight of Swords energy, we've been over that. I think you're just shifting the way you're looking at things. There was a YouTube ad. I was listening to somebody who went from making $1,500 a month to $15,000. And I'm always weary of those things, but I did listen, before I skipped it. Sorry, don't skip the ads. She said it was all about how she changed her point of view, that it's not always about hard work, which I kind of agree with, because a lot of us are raised in a family or in society where it's like you have to grind it out for it to be worth it. Not everything has to hurt for it to be worth it. Okay, and I know I have some Capricorns who are very close to me, and actually like stellium Capricorns out there who really have a hard time wrapping their head around something. In order for something to be of value, it had to really hurt. There had to be blood, sweat, and tears involved. Now, that's not for all my Capricorns, so I don't want you to take offense, but really changing that perspective to dissolve the blocks so that abundance and love flows more freely to you. And you get surfacing. Yeah. So this is this surfacing card. These are like little bubbles that are coming to the top. Again, I really still feel like we're still in that full moon Scorpio energy where really, we like I like to use the imagery of like a murky pond and going down to the rich bottom part. And, in doing that, you're going to churn up the waters and things might seem even less clear. But now if you give it time, everything's going to settle, but you're going to come back up these bubbles, this knowledge, this information coming to the surface. And this is also you. Some of you might have been, I'm getting an image of like a weird Jello mold that gets like a Jello salad that gets like a film on top of it, that finger Jello. Kind of gross, I know. But sort of like breaking through that mold, kind of like, think of this horrible alien movie of like a birthing process, but really coming to the surface, coming up for air, really coming from the depths, renewed, revitalized, rejuvenated, with new information and like ready to go. So it's good, even though my imagery was, even though my guides were showing me kind of gross slash. I guess they're in like a funny mood today, showing me weird images. All right, perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Immediately, I thought of my Capricorns out there who might be listening. Um, and I just want to go back to that really quickly. That your hard work is definitely good and is beneficial, and you're on the right path. But also for all of us, this perseverance. This purple color really. I feel like it's show and tell week. Really, really is making me think of amethyst and all the healing and really focusing on what it is you want to attract in your life. And this green is that heart chakra energy and that love energy. Remember, we have these 3 chambers of our heart. We have the pink, we have the green, and then the blue. But really like healing your heart chakra to allow the flow of love and abundance into your life. But then also the green, I'm really getting that pentacly, earthy energy, in the 3D, attracting what it is you need and what it is you want and what's for your highest good and for those around you. Wow, and you get this card again, happiness. I'm aware that being happy means that I am on the right path. I don't know if this came out yesterday or not. It seems really familiar, but yeah, doing what you need to be doing. At the bottom of the deck, balance. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. Yeah, and I think there was a lot of self-judgment, being really hard on yourself and realizing how ineffective that is. Realistic and course correcting, yes, but we have a tendency to, self-flagellate or mentally self-flagellate ourselves. And self-flagellation, I know it's such a erudite word or such a nerdy word, intellectual word. It comes from, I believe, back when monks would use like, I can't remember what it was, basically like bundles of, not twigs, but whatever, to slash, to hit their backs until they bled, okay, as a form of communing with source. Okay, let's go ahead and pull a final message for the collective. Look who comes out. Artemis. You know who you are if you're watching this. Artemis didn't come out. It's not just a coincidence that Artemis came out. There's somebody out there, you know exactly who I'm talking to. You and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected. Oof. Yeah, Artemis is all about the mountains and all about the forest. She was a master hunter. She was Apollo's twin. She was sort of like your tomboyish behavior. She was just extremely skilled and athletic. She was a hunter, but she also punished those who hunted without integrity. And I know that just sounded weird. I don't know why. Sometimes I slip into, I speak Spanish fluently, and sometimes I slip into things sound better, come out as if they were translation there. But Artemis is, like people who were hunting for fun or for pleasure rather than out of necessity. So everything that she hunted and killed, she would, give thanks, for doing that. And Artemis, Artemis did fall in love with a giant. Oh my gosh, and I can't remember who it is. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not up 100% on my mythology. But she fell in love with, I think it was Orion. So she fell in love with Orion. And from what I understand, Apollo actually got jealous because he was used to having her, all of her affection and attention. And she was tricked into having a competition with the bow and arrow. And Apollo was bathing in a lake. Sorry, not Apollo. Orion was bathing in a lake, and Apollo said, "Hey, can you hit that rock or that animal, whatever? Let's see who could do it." And she was always sort of the better archer, and so she, pulled back her arrow and let it go, and then she realized that she killed Orion, her lover, and her, the love of her life. And so there, take whatever resonates from that story, or have a look and see Artemis, what she might mean for you guys. But it is a reminder that you and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected. Again, I was picking up on, the big, on the soul family, the angels, the ascended masters that you're working with, loved ones who have passed, ancestors, and your spirit guides are all rallying behind you to let this light shine, to guide you through through this process of healing and releasing these old karmic wounds and patterns and relationships. And this is beautiful, because you need to celebrate all of this, because you deserve it. All right, you guys, I'm going to stop rambling, and I'm going to let you get on with your day. I absolutely love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day. Take care.